Join me as I dive into two spine-chilling Ouija board stories that will seriously test my nerves. The idea of communicating with the spirit world has long fascinated humans, and one tool that's often used to try and make contact is the Ouija board. These mysterious boards have been a staple of horror movies and haunted houses for decades, but are they really a gateway to the other side, or just a clever trick of the mind? There are those who believe that Ouija boards are a powerful tool for connecting with the dead, allowing us to tap into a world beyond our own. But others claim that they're nothing more than a clever illusion, a way to tap into our own subconscious fears and anxieties. So, do Ouija boards really work, or are they just a harmless form of entertainment? The truth is, we may never know for certain, but one thing's for sure, they can be downright terrifying. The unpredictability of a Ouija board experience is what makes it so unsettling. You never know what's going to happen, or who might be on the other end of the line. Are you really talking to a ghost, or is it just your imagination running wild? The not knowing is what makes it so frightening, and it's this sense of uncertainty that can be so captivating. But what happens when you start to use a Ouija board and something goes terribly wrong? When the line between reality and the supernatural becomes blurred, and you're left wondering if you've unleashed something sinister into your life. It's a risk that many people take, hoping to catch a glimpse of something paranormal, but sometimes it's not worth the cost. Our first story takes us to a small town in the Midwest, where a group of friends decided to use a Ouija board to try and contact a local legend. They'd heard the rumors, but they didn't believe them, until they started to experience strange occurrences that they couldn't explain. Doors would slam shut on their own, and ghostly apparitions would appear in their photographs. It was as if they'd unleashed a malevolent force into their lives, and they didn't know how to stop it. The most unsettling part of their experience was the way the Ouija board seemed to be manipulating them. It was as if they were being led down a path of destruction, with the board calling the shots. They'd ask it questions, and it would give them cryptic answers, always pushing them to do more, to dig deeper. It was like they were trapped in some kind of twisted game, with no way out. As the days went by, the occurrences grew more frequent, and more intense. The group started to experience strange visions, and heard disembodied voices in their ears. It was as if the Ouija board had opened up a doorway to another dimension, and they were powerless to stop it. They tried to destroy the board, but it was too late, the damage was done. In the end, the group was left shaken, wondering if they'd made a terrible mistake. They'd unleashed something into their lives, something that they couldn't control. And as they looked back on their experience, they realized that they'd been foolish to think they could control the supernatural. It was a hard lesson to learn, but one that they'd never forget. The most shocking part of this story is the way the Ouija board seemed to have a mind of its own. It was as if it was playing a game of cat and mouse with the group, always staying one step ahead. They thought they were in control, but they weren't. The board was calling the shots. And when it was all over, they were left to pick up the pieces, and try to make sense of what had happened. One of the most chilling aspects of this story is the way it suggests that Ouija boards can be a portal to something truly sinister. It's not just a harmless game, it's a doorway to the unknown, and once you step through it, there's no turning back. This is what makes these boards so fascinating, and so terrifying. In our next story, we'll see just how quickly things can go wrong when you start to use a Ouija board. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of meddling with forces you don't understand, and the devastating consequences that can follow. In the end, it's up to each of us to decide whether or not to use a Ouija board. But as we've seen in these two stories, the consequences can be dire. Perhaps it's better to leave the spirit world alone, and focus on the world of the living. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the world of Ouija boards. If you've had a similar experience, be sure to share it with us in the comments below. And if you're feeling brave, be sure to check out another one of our scary story videos.